Some towns and regions in the U.S. have significant racial history, often tied to racism, segregation, and civil rights struggles. Here are 10 of the most prominent. Tulsa, Oklahoma. The 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre remains a defining moment in the city's history. White mobs attacked the prosperous black neighborhood of Greenwood, known as Black Wall Street, killing an estimated 300 black residents and leaving thousands homeless. The massacre was largely ignored for decades, but has been the subject of renewed attention in recent years. Selma, Alabama. Selma was the site of the 1965 Selma to Montgomery marches, which were a pivotal event in the civil rights movement. The violence faced by peaceful protesters on Bloody Sunday helped lead to the passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. The city's history is marked by strong racial tensions, but it is also seen as a place of transformation. Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson was a focal point of racial conflict during the civil rights movement. The city's history includes violent protests and opposition to school desegregation, as well as the 1963 murder of civil rights activist Medgar Evers. Despite these struggles, Jackson has made efforts to reconcile its past. Columbus, Georgia. Columbus was deeply segregated and resistant to civil rights progress during the 20th century. The city, like many in the South, had segregated schools and public spaces, and the fight for equal rights was long and challenging. Birmingham, Alabama. In the 1960s, Birmingham was known as one of the most segregated cities in the United States. It was the site of the 1963 bombing of the 16th Street Baptist Church, which killed 4 African American girls and sparked national outrage. The city was a center of violent resistance to desegregation, but also a site of important civil rights actions. Montgomery, Alabama. Montgomery is famous for the 1955-56 Montgomery bus boycott, which was sparked by the arrest of Rosa Parks. While the boycott was a significant victory for the civil rights movement, the city had a long history of segregation and violence toward African Americans before and after the boycott. New Orleans, Louisiana. New Orleans has a long history of racial tension, including violent clashes between white supremacists and black citizens, particularly after Reconstruction and during the civil rights movement. The city also had segregated public spaces and schools, but it has since become a symbol of cultural diversity, including African American culture. Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston was a central location for the transatlantic slave trade, and its economy was built on slavery. The city was a stronghold of pro-slavery sentiment before the Civil War. The legacy of racism in Charleston continues to be a point of reflection, with ongoing discussions about monuments and the city's history of racial inequality. Charlottesville, Virginia. Charlottesville gained national attention in 2017 when white supremacist groups held a rally in the city, leading to violent clashes and the death of Heather Heyer. The event brought attention to the ongoing presence of racial tensions and hate groups in the U.S. and sparked debates over Confederate monuments. Spokane, Washington. Spokane has a more recent history tied to racial issues. It gained attention in the 2010s due to a controversy surrounding Rachel Dolezal, the former president of the Spokane chapter of the NAACP, who was revealed to have misrepresented herself as black. The city had also faced protests over police practices and racial inequality. These towns and regions are often associated with moments in history where racial violence, discrimination, or segregation occurred. Do you believe many of the residents in these towns and regions have worked to overcome these challenges? Do you believe these places are not defined solely by their histories, but also by the ongoing efforts to create change and promote racial equity. Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe.